Welcome to Two Weird Beans in Iceland! In this two-part video we're going to share some of our must-see spots for first-timers in Iceland. Some of these are tried and tested tourist hotspots that have a well-earned place on our list. Others are smaller, lesser known or more intimate locations that we feel deserve a mention. So let's get into it. We're currently walking alongside the largest glacier outside of the Arctic Circle. I'm embarrassed to say I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce it. But name here. We'll put the name up on the screen. And we've just been learning a bit about it. And it's the glacier itself is actually sitting in the crater of an enormous volcano. And the crater itself is 5 kilometers in diameter. Big. And sitting in there is this glacier, so it's filled with ice. At the deepest point of the glacier, it's 950 meters deep. So you're 950 meters down of ice with an average of 400 meters. That's a lot of ice. Yeah,
I don't know how you compare that to something, you know? Like things like how many double-decker buses it is. Or
yeah. I mean, when we climb Snowdon, that's 1,085 meters. So it's almost the height of Snowdon, yeah, but deep of ice.
That's ridiculous.
That's absolutely insane. The other thing that we literally just learned a few minutes ago is that because there's a lot of heat obviously coming up from this volcano, it's dormant now, but there's still a lot of heat. The heat coming up from the volcano melts some of the underside of the glacier that sits on top of it, and this creates huge underground lakes. And then every so often the kind of pressure builds up because there's so much water underneath the glacier, and then that water bursts out from under the ice and floods these plains that we're walking through now. Did you say, when was the last time it happened?
1996.
Yeah, so it's not even that long ago.
Yeah.
Periodically it just happens, and apparently it can happen at any time as well, which is...
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like an eruption or any sort of seismic activity.
Slightly alarming. Yeah. It can happen at any time.
But it looks pretty frozen now. Yeah,
they're absolutely incredible. I was a bit kind of so-so in my head about glaciers. It's like, oh well, it's a load of ice, what's so impressive about that? And then you get here and just the sheer size of this, I don't know, this huge mass of ice is just incredibly impressive and very humbling actually. Yeah. We've been watching them from kind of afar for the last few miles of driving. You can see them obviously from miles and miles away. So we're going to get up close to this one and take a look.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've just got pretty close to this bit. I mean, this is just one small bit of the glacier. It's huge. It's kilometers across all through the mountains, but that's one small bit of it. And then there's a glacial lagoon here. There's just icebergs in it. These small parts of the glacier that pour out from the mountains are called outlet glaciers. And not content with just seeing the outlet, a few days after this we went on a guided walk up onto a different outlet glacier nearby. We also had the opportunity to have a look inside the ice caves up on the glacier, which were the most striking blue colour, but definitely not for the claustrophobic. We did talk about the shower situation at the lagoons in our last video, but in this video we wanted to tell you a little bit more about the lagoons themselves.
We're at the Blue Lagoon.
Even though it's super touristy, it's so nice.
We had to do it. It's so warm.
It's worth it.
It's so warm, it's so blue. Look at that.
The Blue Lagoon is definitely the most touristy of Iceland's thermal pools, but that is for a good reason. Soaking in the warm, bright blue water is one of the most luxury experiences we've ever had. And your entrance fee includes a drink and face mask. What mask did you go for?
Free one.
All masked up. It's a different kind of mask to what we're used to wearing.
Fancy.
Yeah.
It is super expensive here. But you know what? We're here once and it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice and warm. And then actually it's just started to snow.
Yeah.
But we're still nice and toasty. So I'm loving life.
As Jess said, the cost is pretty steep. At £70 each, it was by far the most expensive of Iceland's lagoons. But it really is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As a little top tip, if you head under the bridges as far from the entrance as you can get, it's a lot quieter and it feels like you have some of the pool all to yourself. The Secret Lagoon has a much more low-key, chilled-out atmosphere than the Blue Lagoon, plus it's the cheapest at £18 each. The pool is quite small but wasn't anywhere near as busy as the Blue Lagoon, so it didn't feel crowded at all. We're also not sure if this was just on our visit or whether it's a feature of the pool, but there were some spots that were really hot, like uncomfortably hot. Ow! Oh Christ, that's really, ow. That's actually unpleasantly hot. The Secret Lagoon retains a much more natural feel to it than the others, with gravel underfoot and lots of algae in the water. But for that, it feels like a slightly more authentic experience than the hyper-touristy spots.
For the Sky Lagoon, we were back to a pretty touristy vibe, which of course meant a price rise at £43 each. That's not to say it wasn't very nice and relaxing, but it was probably the least favourite of the three. It doesn't have the wow factor of the Blue Lagoon, nor the peaceful authentic feel of the Secret,
So it's just kind of in the middle. The infinity pool on the edge and the rocks surrounding the pool were cool. It just didn't give us the same feeling as the other two. Although that could have been because it was our last day of the trip and we were knackered and it was raining. What you got there?
Black sand.
Cool!
It properly is as well. I don't know why I was expecting, it's called a black sand beach. I don't know why I was not expecting it to be literally black sand, but yeah, it is.
And why is it black sand?
Don't know, something to do with volcanoes.
Volcanoes! Yeah, well done.
We're educational on this channel.
Gold star for Ben.
Let's try that again.
We're currently walking on one of Iceland's famous black sand beaches. And the unique colour of these beaches is caused by the fact that Iceland is basically a series of huge volcanoes, and the black sand is actually the cooled lava ground down over centuries and millennium into sand. So we're literally walking on ancient cooled lava. It's really awesome.
These black sand beaches are all over Iceland, but the one we went to is in Vik on the south coast. I imagine the experience would be slightly more enjoyable on a nice warm sunny day, but it was still a really interesting thing to see.
Shameless self-promotion.
Yeah. At least I spelled it right this time.
Yeah, that was embarrassing the first attempt.
We don't talk about that.
W-I-E-R-D.
We don't talk about that. As a small bonus place to visit that combines both the black sand beaches and the glaciers, there's also Diamond Beach. Here you will find not only the famous black sand, but also chunks of the glacier that have broken off, swept out towards the sea and ended up on the beach like giant diamonds. Very cool to see.
you having fun?